Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're showing you 3 of my absolute favorite tools for finding strong stocks on stock charts in just a couple of clicks. Easy to use, couldn't be faster, but these incredible resources do truly make it a streamlined process to find the strongest stocks out there in the market. We're going to hit scooter reports, we're going to hit the sector summary page, and we're going to hit predefined scans. Plus, we'll jump over to ACP, show you how you can use some of these tools over there as well. So lots to cover on the show today. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel, where we dig into the site, dive into the tools, show you around the features, and ultimately help you get more value out of stock charts. That is our mission here every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, up on our live channel, also up on our YouTube channel after that, and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at Stock Charts. Wonderful to be back with you as always. And this one is going to be a fun episode. We're kind of piecing a few things together from different shows that we've done in the past, highlighting some of those key tools around the site. But on this one, we're talking about quick, easy, effective ways to find strong stocks. Now, we've got a market that is trying to make its way higher. We've really been drifting sideways, but we've been banging up against some of those resistance levels. And we got a lot of things out there that are working. There are stocks out there in the market, if you're looking for individual names, that are really making strong moves higher. So on the show today, like we mentioned in the open, we're going to look at 3 different tools that you can use out of the box in just a couple of clicks to find strong stocks to put on your watch list. They could be good trade targets. They could be setups you want to keep following. But in whatever case they are, you're going to find these stocks in just a couple of clicks. So we're going to highlight the scooter reports. We're going to highlight the predefined scans page. And we're going to highlight the sector summary tool. Again, piecing together a few things that we've done in different episodes of the show. We're going to put it all together though. And then at the end, we're actually going to jump over to ACP, show you how you can use some of these features over there, and give you a sneak peek at some of the things that are coming very, very soon to the site, very, very soon to ACP. We got new features rolling out in just a couple of weeks. So lots to cover on the show today. Let's jump right to it. So we're starting here on our charts and tools page. I always like to say this is a great directory of all the different tools and features that are on stock charts. So many of them, but they are all right here for you. If you're looking at any page around the site, look for that charts and tools link up in the top left corner. Give that a click. That will take you over to this page. So you got access to these cards kind of in the center of the page that describe all these different features. But if you know where you're going, you've also got the sidebar over here on the right, depending on how wide your screen is. So we're going to look at a couple of tools. You can access all of these from the sidebar. But as we scroll down, what we're going to look at today, scooter reports. You can access that one right here in that summary pages area. We're also going to look at the sector summary tool. We're going to sort of combine that scooter concept with the sector summary tool. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. And then we are going to jump down to reports and more, and we're going to hit the predefined scans page. We're going to absolutely fly through the show today. We got a lot to cover, but you're going to see how all these things work, and you can go start to explore some of these different tools on your own. So first up, let's jump over to the scooter reports. Now, you might be wondering what scooter stands for. SCTR, we like to call that the scooter. It stands for Stock Charts Technical Rank. You might be familiar with this, but this is our own sort of proprietary technical ranking system that we've developed, originally kind of based on John Murphy's approach and some of the ways that he likes to follow the markets. So what the scooter does when we jump into this page, it organizes all of the different securities into these different groups. Now, something can only belong to one universe, as we call it, at a time. So it can only be a large cap, it can only be a mid cap, only be a small cap, or it can be an ETF, it can be an industry group. We've got a bunch of these different groups. Things can only belong to one group at a time though. We do rebalance those quarterly. So as something grows, for instance, if it goes from a $1 billion market cap all the way up to a $50 billion market cap over time, you will see that stock move from the small cap group to the mid cap group to the large cap group. Again, that's kind of a quarterly rebalancing. But the beauty of the scooter is that it is the same technical criteria applied to all of the securities within a group. So if we jump over to, well, we'll just stick with the large caps. If we're looking at this large cap scooter group, we're taking the exact same criteria. You can actually read up on it in our documentation, see exactly what goes into the scooter calculation. We're going to take that criteria though, and we're going to apply it to all of the stocks within the large cap group. We're then going to spit out a number from 0 to 100 for every single stock in that group. And we're going to rank those. Up at near 100, that is going to be the strongest stock, 99.9. You can see that BLDR right now, very, very high up on the scooter. And anything that's down kind of low, close to 0 is generally going to be very, very weak. So weakest is down at the 0 level, strongest is up at the 100 level, and it gets stronger and stronger as you go from 0 to 100. The benefit of the scooter, it is a very, very powerful filter. Now, if you're looking at something like large cap stocks, right, you've got a ton of names in there. This is a huge, huge list of stocks. We can see it just keeps going and going and going. We've got 779 different stocks in this group. Now, you probably don't want to look at 779 stocks, and that's just the large cap group alone. So what the scooter allows you to do is filter that list very, very quickly and very, very easily. We know that anything below 30, 40, maybe even 50, generally, those are going to be weak charts. If you're looking for long setups, you're going to want to avoid anything that is below 50. You might even want to avoid anything below 70. You can use the scooter as a filter to say, I'm only going to look at the charts that are in the 90s or the 90s and the 80s or the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. The scooter can become a very, very quick, very, very easy filter to simply narrow down your universe. It gives you a great starting place to go and review your charts. Now, the other great thing about the scooter reports is that it gives you a list of incredibly strong stocks right off the bat. So here on our scooter page, you can see that we've got this ranked from 99.9 all the way down to 0. And we can actually hover over the symbols to see how strong these different stocks are. So something like BLDR, a very, very strong stock at the moment, has actually made a breakout. This is one that I was watching for a while, made a beautiful breakout and has continued this run higher. You can see how strong that chart is. Just for fun, if we flip this and now we actually resort the scooter table from 0 to 100 instead of 100 to 0, let's look at SVB. We know the story on that one, a very, very weak chart. Wolf Speed in a strong downtrend. We can see how weak some of these low numbered scooters are going to be. Key, another one that's just getting hammered to the downside. So that just kind of highlights how the scooter works. Again, anything down at 0 is going to be weak in general, and anything up at 100 is going to be very, very strong. So this is a great place to come and find strong stocks. Right here, what you have a list of is, in order, the strongest stocks in the market. We can look at Meta next up, a very, very strong uptrend. Exact Sciences, we can see that that's actually making a breakout, moving higher, might be one to dig into and put on the watch list. We've got a bank stock, something that is rare to see at the top of the scooter reports right now. First Citizens, though, continuing to move higher. So you can get a sense of kind of how strong these charts are right off the bat. Now, things up at 99.9 might be a little extended. Those are the strongest stocks that are absolutely flying. So you might get a little bit more value out of those, but they might be a little bit extended. What I personally like to do is target things in more the 80s and the 70s kind of range. That's where things are starting to improve, especially when you actually see the scooter value moving higher over time. If you find something in the 80s, let's say it's gone from 75 to 80 to 85, you can see that that's actually, increasing over time. That strength is improving, and that's where things can really start to run. So as we scroll down here, let's look at something in the 80s. Let's look at TransDigm, for instance. There you go. Might not be quite as extended. A nice trend continuing to move higher, but has kind of made a breakout recently, been consolidating in 23. Made that breakout. You can see on that little mini chart, might be pulling back, could be a trade setup there. So just one of the ways that I like to use it. I actually like to target things that are in the sort of 70s and 80s range. Here's one that might be setting up. Palo Alto Networks, kind of trying to make that breakout. Got hit a little bit, but moving back up towards the breakout level. So again, 70s and 80s, kind of the area where I find that these things like to fly. But this is your first stop for finding strong stocks very, very quickly. Now, by the way, you can click the name on any of these to open up a chart for that, or use the links over here on the left to actually pull up different tools. Symbol summary, sharp chart, ACP chart, those are right there for you. And of course, you can switch these groups to anything that you want. So if you want to jump over to the mid cap group, there you go. We can see here's the top mid cap name, RXDX. We've got MDGL, another strong one that's made a huge move higher. Occasionally, you do see these things that kind of throw off the scooter calculation. When you get a massive jump higher, it will kind of trick the calculation. But in general, these scooter numbers can work very, very well for you. NEO, there's a really nice one moving higher. So you can use this scooter reports feature to find strong stocks very, very quickly. So let's jump back over to the charts and tools area, and we're actually going to scroll down and hit our second stop of the day, which is going to be the sector summary tool. Now we're going to actually take some of the scooter logic that we were just using, that scooter filtering, and we're going to apply that here on the sector summary tool. This is one that we have highlighted somewhat recently, so you might be familiar with this. But what this tool does is summarizes, of course, the major sectors of the market, those S&P sectors that we're all familiar with. Utilities, staples, technology, real estate, all those major groups. So those are going to be summarized here, and we can actually sort this table by scooter score because all of these are ETFs, so they actually do have scooter scores. We can sort this table by scooter and actually see what the strongest sectors of the market are right now. We can see services, technology, and staples, some of the strongest ones up there in the 90s and the 80s. Now, the sector summary page on its own, sort of first glance, summarizes these sectors. This is a nice look. This might give you an idea of kind of where to look in the market. You might want to focus on those couple of sectors, but this tool does a lot more than first meets the eye. So what you can actually do with this tool is click into each sector to go down to the layer below. The way that the market is organized is sector and then industry group and then the stock level. We've got these major sectors of the market. Within each of those sectors, we have major industry groups of the market. Within technology, you're going to have a bunch of different industry groups sort of within that broader technology sector, right? And then within all those industry groups, you have the individual stocks that make them up. So this tool actually allows you to drill down from the sector level to the industry group level to the individual stocks within. So if we take, for instance, we were just talking about technology, we take that technology sector, we click that name right here on the sector summary page. And now, as you can see, we're doing the sector summary for the technology sector itself. You can also see that represented here in the breadcrumb. So we've got S&P sectors at the high level, and then we're drilling down into the technology sector specifically. So now what we're looking at is all of the different industry groups within that technology sector. Again, we can sort this by scooter to find the strongest industry groups because we actually do have a scooter universe for these different industry group indexes. So we can see renewable energy equipment, software, computer hardware. Those have been some of the strongest groups. Semiconductors right there in the 90s, popping up into the 90s. So if we drill into one of these, again, we can do the same thing at the next layer down. All we have to do is click computer hardware. And now what we're looking at is the strongest stocks within that computer hardware industry group. So we've got a strong sector, we've got a strong industry group. Now we're going to find the strongest stocks within that industry group, the strongest computer hardware stocks out there. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to sort by scooter. Now, we do have those universes listed, so you can see that this is kind of a mix of mids and smalls and large caps, but all of these are going to be individual stocks, and we're going to sort all of these by scooter. We can do the same thing, hover over any of these symbols to actually get a quick little mini chart to get a sense of kind of what these charts look like. Here's one that is actually setting up for a nice little breakout, has been on a run to the upside since about November and is testing new highs there from 2022. Might be one to take a look at on your watch list. So we can start to scroll through these and see what the strongest stocks in this industry group are going to be. This is a tool that I love to use. This is a resource that I love to use to find not just strong stocks on their own, but again, strong stocks that are backed by strong industry groups and strong sectors. When you get all things aligning there, you really have kind of group strength at the same time as an individual stock being strong. That is a recipe for success in my book. So we can see even things like Apple. This is a great example actually right now. Sitting in the 84s, I mentioned that I like to find scooters that are in the 80s. So Apple is a great example of that right now, testing a breakout above those highs from 2022. So we can see that this is one that's setting up quite nicely in the large cap group. Obviously, 84 on this on the scooter. We found Apple here, a strong stock, in just a couple of clicks. Didn't take too much digging or too many crazy scanning or things like that. Pretty easy to find those kinds of strong stocks. So this is a great resource to come to. And again, the trick with this sector summary tool is just to sort things by scooter. That's going to give you all of those stocks, again, from strongest to weakest. Now, if you are playing the short side, by the way, you can use the scooter in reverse. We can actually click this again to kind of resort it. Oh, doesn't look like it's working there. But if you sort scooters the opposite direction, if you sort them from 0 to 100 so that the weakest stocks are up there at the top, you'll actually have some nice short targets potentially. You could do the same kinds of things. I like to target 70s and 80s on the long side. So if you're targeting short plays, you could target the 10s and the 20s as things that might continue lower. So just another way to use that scooter report, scooter concept if you are out there finding strong or weak stocks in the market. So that's how our sector summary tool works. And with that out of the way, we're going to jump over to our third tool of the day. I'm going to jump back over to that charts and tools page and scroll down to a very, very cool resource called our Predefined Scans page. This is our third great place to go to find strong stocks in just a couple of clicks. So under reports and more, right here on the left side of the page, we've got our Predefined Scans page. Now, our StockCharts scanning engine, I would say, is one of the most powerful and important resources on the site. When you become a StockCharts member, one of the things that you really are signing up for is that scan engine. You have the ability to take your own custom technical criteria, whatever it may be, combine it all, and run these incredibly powerful custom technical scans across all of the symbols in our StockCharts database, a huge, huge number of symbols. There is a ton of power in the scan engine. If you want to access that scan engine, all you got to do is click that scan workbench link right here, or go up to the top menu in the top right corner, hit your scans, that'll take you right there. But scanning is a challenge. There's a lot to learn there. There's a bit of a learning curve to creating your own custom scans, writing your own custom scans. You do have to learn something. So the place that I always like to start people is actually right here on the Predefined Scans page. This allows you to start running advanced technical scans without having to write any of that scan syntax, without having to worry about how the scan engine works. All you have to do is show up here on the Predefined Scans page, find the criteria that fits what you're looking for, and click on a number. Now, click on a number. What does that mean? You've got these numbers throughout this table. All of those are actually links. So you can click on any of those numbers to see those results. So let's start up at the top of the Predefined Scans page, kind of give you a quick tour of this, tell you how it works, and then we'll actually show you how to use this page to find strong stocks out there in the markets. As you can see, this Predefined Scans page has a ton of different scans on it. We've got different technical indicator moves, bullish and bearish. If you actually look at that, we've got technical indicators as kind of the main group. We've got this then sub-organized by bullish technical indicators and bearish technical indicators. So you've got different technical moves and specific technical indicators built into these predefined scans in that first group. We've also got predefined scans for specific candlestick patterns, again organized into bullish, bearish. We've got continuation patterns, single candle patterns, elder bark patterns, Ichimoku patterns. We've got a ton in here. And finally, we have P&F patterns, point and figure chart patterns. So we've got bullish and bearish P&F patterns in here as well. So you can scroll through this page and find any of these scans that fit what you're looking for. And to run those in just a single click, all you've got to do is click one of these numbers. So for instance, let's say we're looking at new 52-week highs. Again, we're trying to find strong stocks out there moving higher in just a couple of clicks. So new 52-week highs is one of the top ones on my list. I love to scan for new highs, not just 52-week highs, but also 9-month, 6-month, 3-month, all-time highs. I love to scan for all of that stuff. But new 52-week highs, an incredible starting place for finding strong stocks out there. By definition, if something is making a new 52-week high, it's got to at least be somewhat strong. It is moving to the upside. It's certainly not going lower if it's making new highs. So to run this scan and find all of those stocks out there making new 52-week highs, we can see that there are 204 results. We're going to give that a click. There we go. We've got our 204 results. We've got all of those right in this scans table, and we can do the exact same thing. We can hover over any of these symbols, see those charts. We can also sort this by scooter to get the strongest ones up at the top. We give that 2 clicks in this case. Now we've got that scooter score sorting from top to bottom, and we can see all of those strong 204 names making new 52-week highs in today's session. Now, this is kind of a jumbled up group of stocks though. It's not just US stocks. We've also got Canadian stocks in here and London and India. We got a lot in here. It's also going to have ETFs. There's a ton in this group. So if we actually go back to that predefined scans page and we look at the right side of this table, you can see that you have some quick ways to kind of filter which group you are looking at. So in that new 52-week highs group, we can actually sort specifically by NYSE stocks, NASDAQ stocks, and a whole bunch of other options, Amex, OTC, even mutual funds. We've got different countries in here as well. So for instance, let's say we were looking at just the stocks in the NASDAQ making new 52-week highs. We can see that that's going to be 34 names. We give that a click because like I said, all those numbers are actually links. Now we're looking at the 34 names in the NASDAQ making new 52-week highs. Same kind of deal. We can sort this by scooter from top to bottom. Here we go. We've got TO, that's flying to the upside, absolutely screaming. We've got Carol's Restaurant Group, another one that is absolutely screaming. So you can see that using that predefined scan, we've now run that in just a couple of clicks. We've got a whole list of 34 stocks that are worth looking at if you're finding things moving to the upside. New 52-week highs, all of these things on this list are making new highs. And we can sort it by scooter to find the strongest ones in the bunch. Now we could do that same kind of trick. We could maybe target the ones down in the 80s. Let's see how these look. Here's an ETF, so that's a little bit different, but actually making a nice little breakout might be one to watch if you're interested in ETFs. O'Reilly, this has been a steady trender, breaking out from a bit of consolidation though, has been making a move higher. So a strong one if you're into strong trenders might be a name to look for. So again, you can look at things in the 80s. I find that there's a lot of strength there in the 80s that's just kind of setting up and getting going. Here's one. CWST has made a breakout. That's a nice chart. Pepsi, that's been another one that's backed up by some group strength out of food and beverage. So you can see how this tool works. Here's one. Cintas in the 70s, a little bit closer to a tradable level there. You can see making the breakout, starting to move higher. Not a bad chart. Might be one to look at. So anyways, you can get a sense of how easy it is to start running these different predefined scans right from this page. So if you had other criteria that sort of piques your interest here, maybe you want bullish MACD crossovers, maybe you want new CCI buy signals, any of these predefined scans, you can run those in just a single click. You don't have to worry about writing the custom code to run that scan. You can just click a number. Now we're looking at the 35 stocks in the NYSE on new CCI buy signals. There you go. There's another list of strong stocks that you can start to filter through. So this predefined scans page is an incredible resource, and especially with all of the different kind of organization of the page. Again, technical indicators, we've got candlestick patterns. One that I love is PNF triple top breakout. So if we look at stocks in the NASDAQ, for instance, on a triple top breakout on the PNF chart, we can sort that. Here's one that has been setting up, making the move higher. After a long downtrend, DraftKings has been starting to move higher. A beauty of a chart there. So this is one of those predefined scans that I actually love to run myself. This is one that I always look for here on the predefined scans page. But an incredible tool, and it's right there for you. You can just jump over to this tool, start running scans without having to worry about any code. Now, one thing that I do want to mention though, while we're here on the predefined scans, super quick, let's jump back to new 52-week highs in, for instance, the NASDAQ. When you run that predefined scan, if you are interested in taking that predefined scan and starting to customize it, starting to build your own criteria in it, maybe instead of the NASDAQ, you want to search for stocks in the S&P 500 or something like that. Or maybe you want to add some different criteria. You want to add a volume filter in there, maybe a minimum price filter, minimum market cap, any of those kinds of things. What you can do is look for this blue button at the top of that scan results page. So you go over to the predefined scans, run one of the scans that's interesting to you, and then from that results page, click that blue button that says Edit Scan Criteria. When you do that, it's automatically going to take the syntax, as we call it, for that predefined scan, and it's going to pull that into the scan workbench. Now we can hit reformat to kind of clean that up. You can see here is the syntax for that new 52-week highs scan. So we could start to change this. We could say instead of the exchanges, let's say we insert a group. Actually, we'll come down here, show you how this works really, really quickly. We'll do indexes and ETFs. We're going to jump into the S&P 500. We've selected that from indexes and ETFs. We hit add. We can see that that's going to add that little syntax right there to our scan. I'm going to copy that and I'm actually going to paste it on the line up above. So instead of searching for stocks in the NASDAQ that are making new 52-week highs, what we've done is we've replaced that little filter with group is S&P 500. So this is actually going to look at new 52-week highs in the S&P 500 instead. When we hit run, now we've actually customized our own scan. We've customized our own custom technical scan. We're looking specifically at stocks in the S&P 500. We got 18 of them today making new 52-week highs. So you can see that you can actually start to use that predefined scans page to create your own custom screens. That's a great starting place. I always like to point people to that when they're getting up and running with scanning. I say, first thing you got to do, start running those predefined scans. And then once you get intrigued by the process, start customizing them using that predefined scans tool, bring that criteria into the scan workbench, start to customize it from there. A great little workflow booster. So that is going to do it for the first part of our show today. Now, in our final couple of minutes, I do want to mention we've got some very, very cool things coming to ACP and some great features already built into this platform. So if you're familiar with ACP, if you are an ACP user, you actually have the ability to do a lot of this stuff right from here. On the right side of the platform, first up, click that trophy, and that's going to actually load in those scooter reports for you right here. You can click the all ranked category to get all of the stocks in any of those universes right here in ACP. And the great thing is that you can click on any of these to quickly pull up a chart for that symbol. Now you can also do predefined scans or custom scans right from ACP. The second icon down, select predefined scans from that menu up top, and you can see that you've actually got a menu right in there that allows you to run any of those predefined scans right from ACP. So we can run new 52-week highs. Now we've got 205 results. And again, we can click on any of those to quickly get a chart. Very, very nice to be able to run these different scans right here from ACP and see those charts on the fly. Two exciting little announcements. We are going to be adding more filters to those predefined scans right here in ACP. And down here in the drawer at the bottom of the platform, we're actually going to be rolling out the sector summary tool built directly into ACP. So lots to look forward to there. Very excited about that. So that is going to do it for us. I know we absolutely flew through today's show, but thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Stock Charts in Focus, showing you a couple of different tools you can use around the site to find strong stocks in just a couple of clicks. Remember, we do this every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time up on the live channel, also up on our YouTube channel after that, and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. But always highlighting tools, features, helping you get more value out of stock charts. That's our mission with this show every single week. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. It's been great to be with you. I'll see you soon for the next one. But until then, chart on, my friends.